Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cracking open a report that, quietly shapes some massive decisions. We're talking billion-dollar business deals and huge career moves. It's the 2025 Global Liveability Index from the Economist Intelligence Unit. So when you see a list of the best cities, your first thought might be, oh, cool, a travel guide. But nope, that's really not what this is about. This report is some serious global intelligence. You should really think of it more like a blueprint for businesses, and kind of like a compass for your own career. It's guiding where companies pour their money and where the best and brightest decide to plant their roots. So let's dive in and see how these rankings actually make waves in the real world. Okay, let's get right to it. The part everyone's been waiting for, the big reveal. So which city managed to climb all the way to the top of this year's list? Let's find out. And it all comes down to this one number, 98.0. Out of 100, that's a near-perfect score. It's what put one city head and shoulders above everyone else. And the winner is Copenhagen. Yup, Denmark's capital. This top spot is no accident, by the way. It reflects their absolutely top-tier, gold-standard scores in things like stability, amazing infrastructure, and a really, really exceptional education system. But of course, Copenhagen isn't the only great place to live. A lot of cities got some seriously high marks. So let's take a little tour of the top and see who else is setting the bar for quality of life these days. All right, here it is, the full top 10. And you'll probably recognize a lot of these names. It's definitely packed with some heavy hitters, especially from Europe and down under in Australia. And what's kind of cool is we've got two ties in here. Vienna and Zurich are battling it out for second, while Osaka and Auckland are sharing that number 7 spot. Now, if you zoom out and look at where these cities are, a pretty clear pattern pops up, right? Europe and Australia, wow. Together, they make up 70% of the top spots. And that really makes you wonder, what are these places doing so right? And why aren't we seeing more cities from, say, the Americas or other parts of Asia cracking that top tier? Okay, so we've got the list. We know who's on top, but let's get past the headlines and the city bragging rights. What do these numbers actually mean? How does this data get used out there in the real world? It's easy to think this is all just a fun little list, right? Something for a mayor to put on a billboard. But is that really all it is? No, not even close. This index is actually a super powerful strategic tool. We're talking about global leaders using this to make some really critical, high-stakes decisions. So when we say livability, we're not just talking about a vibe or a feeling. It's a real calculated benchmark. The final score is a mix of a city's performance across all these key areas: stability, healthcare, culture, you name it. It gives us a consistent way to stack up a city like Vienna against, say, Vancouver. All right, let's try something. Let's put on our CEO hat for a minute. If you were running a huge global company, how would you use a report like this? Well, businesses use it for 3 big reasons. First, they use it to figure out where to set up shop, a new headquarters or a big regional office. Second, it helps them calculate things like hardship pay for employees they're sending overseas. And third, it's a huge tool for judging risk before entering a new market. Think about it. A city stability score, that's a pretty direct signal of how risky it is to invest there. But here's the catch, and it's a classic one in business. It's a trade-off. On the one hand, you've got these amazing, top-tier cities like Zurich or Copenhagen. They offer rock-solid stability and a ton of skilled people. But on the other hand, all that quality comes with a seriously steep price tag. We're talking expensive offices, higher salary demands, the whole 9 yards. So what do smart companies do? They develop a pretty clever 3-part game plan. Step 1, go for those top-tier cities for your most critical hubs. Step 2, get creative to manage the high costs. Think flexible work, remote options, that sort of thing. And step 3, always be on the lookout for up-and-coming cities with improving scores. They could be your next big, cost-effective growth market. Okay, let's flip this around. We've seen it from the company's point of view. But what does this all mean for you? As a professional thinking about where to go next in your career. Well, for highly skilled people, the decision to move is about so much more than just the paycheck. It's really about the whole package, right? You're thinking about great schools for the kids, knowing you've got solid healthcare, and being in a place with a vibrant culture that actually feels, alive. But, and it's a big but, there's the money side of things you just can't ignore. As Chinaza Imala, whose great analysis actually inspired this whole explainer, puts it so well. That awesome quality of life usually goes hand in hand with a high cost of living. And that, of course, is a huge factor when you're deciding whether to pack up and move. And this right here is the puzzle so many professionals have to solve. You've got places like Zurich or Vienna, amazing places to live for sure, but they are so expensive. Then you've got other options like Adelaide or Auckland. They're still in that elite top 10 for quality of life, but the cost of living is way more manageable. And that creates a pretty powerful argument for choosing them, doesn't it? So now that we've looked at this from both sides of the table, the company and the individual, it all comes down to this. How do you take this data and make it personal? How do you apply it to your life and your career? Look, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. The Liveability Index isn't just some academic list of numbers. These scores are about real-world stuff that directly shapes where companies decide to invest, where new jobs pop up, and maybe just where you'll find your next big adventure. And that really brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. As you look at all this, which city jumps out at you? Are you drawn to the rock-solid stability of a place like Copenhagen? Or maybe the amazing balance of cost and quality you'd find in Adelaide? Or are you looking for the excitement of an up-and-coming city? Because in the end, all this global data boils down to a very personal question. What's your next move?